How's it going, everyone? David from dodmedia. Today we're going to be reviewing this gimbal. It's the Moza Aircross 2. Alright, this thing packs a hell of a punch in what is a pretty small and light form factor. It's not as small and light as the Gimbal Lab S, sure, but it's still pretty small. So I'm going to talk about what I think is good about this gimbal, what I think is not so good about this gimbal, but first I want to thank Moza for sending me this. This is actually the prototype version. They sent me this a few months ago and I wanted to get used to using the gimbal. I really wanted to try it out, put it through its paces, instead of just making a review as soon as I got it without really knowing how the gimbal functions and what its faults and flaws and benefits are. Moza aren't paying me to say any of this, they just sent me the prototype to review if I was interested, which I was. Now, the Aircross 2 weighs just over a kilo, quite comfortable with it in my hand. And when I'm using a small mirrorless camera like the A6500 with this 85mm 1.8 lens on it and a cage, it feels very comfortable. I could shoot with this quite happily all day long. It promises a payload of 3.2 kilos, but obviously this setup is a lot lighter than that, so the motors aren't going to have to work nearly as hard, but they have plenty of torque for you to work with more heavy equipment. The battery in the Aircross 2 is now a magazine rechargeable type of battery, so you just pop it out there. Comes out as one item, you don't have to slot in batteries, which was a pain in the ass, and you don't have to use an external charger to slot those in to charge your batteries, which was also a pain in the ass. Now it all gets charged from USB-C, which is great. What's even better than that is that if you want to, you can just charge it directly through the gimbal. The batteries promise 12 hours of performance, a 12-hour life. I found that with gimbals in general, when the battery starts getting to about halfway, the motors don't have enough juice. They don't get the same kind of juice to provide the same kind of torque, which means that if you're working closer to that maximum payload, you might notice that the performance starts to suffer. Although I didn't notice that with this gimbal at all when it went below halfway. But as I said, my setup is fairly light. All right, so then onto the mounting features. Now, if you've watched any of my previous reviews, you'll know how much I hate proprietary systems and mounting options on gimbals or sliders or tripods or anything. I hate it. It seems so silly that they can't just work with plates that already exist or options that already exist. And that was actually one of the reasons that I was put off by the first prototype that they sent me, because it really all revolved around the Arca Swiss type plate, and I used the Manfrotto plate for everything. And I didn't want to have to be changing plates, and I didn't want to have to adapt to a whole new plate universe. I mean, it sounds really stupid, but it's something that makes a difference when you want to slot this off of this, put it on a slider, put it on a tripod, or just put it on a handheld rig quickly without having to get tools out, without having to get your 20p coin out, which is always there. But that initial thing just put me off this gimbal immediately. And so I gave them my feedback on that prototype, and then they sent me this version, which has a few extra benefits to it. So the gimbal itself mounts using an Arca Swiss type plate here in a vertical pattern, which means that you could mount this directly to the side of your cage if your cage has an Arca Swiss type side or bottom to it. My A6500 one does on the bottom, it doesn't on the side. However, if you don't use a cage, or if you are like me and you use Manfrotto, well then this is where this L plate comes in. Now, mounting your camera to the L plate directly is not a good plan, because you would have to screw it on every time, and every time you want to change your batteries, you'd have to take the plate off of the camera, change your battery, put it back on, rebalance it, and that is just, I hate proprietary stuff like that. However, in this box, there also came a nice little Manfrotto plate adapter, which means that I can slide on and off my camera nice and easily using my Manfrotto plate without having to change anything, without having to screw around with tools or anything like that. However, my prototype box only came with this Manfrotto adapter, which means that if you do use Arca Swiss, I don't know if you would actually have to remove the plate and use this L bracket directly on your camera or your cage. Little bit of a pain. But then, as I said, if you use a cage, you could actually put your Arca Swiss plate on the side of your cage and mount it directly there, and that way you don't need the L bracket and you don't need an adapter, which means you're reducing the overall payload of your kit. So anyway, now that I can mount my camera without having to change my adapters to silly proprietary methods like I like, let me show you what this gimbal can actually do. You can choose which axes you want to follow your movements and which ones you want to lock by clicking on the dial. This makes it nice and fast for changing modes, and you can adjust the sensitivity and follow speed by turning that dial. If you want to fine tune the sensitivity of those axes individually, you can do that going into the menu as well. And there you can really dial in exactly what you want. You can set the trigger on the back to do a number of things, but personally, I always like it to do an all lock so that if I want to hold that in and go down for crane shot, I can do that. And then I let go and it goes back into my all follow. And then pretty standard, you just double tap it to recenter your gimbal. If you click right, you enter Q mode on the pan axis, which means that things follow a lot more quickly now. Things are a lot more responsive. This is great if you're shooting sports sequences or if you're going at a much higher frame rate and you intend to overcrank that and slow it down in post-production, because it means that you can really stick with your action. You're not going to have moments where you're kind of trying to keep up with what's happening. You can be a lot more responsive. And then my favorite mode, if you triple click on the left of the dial, you enter FPV mode. Now this is the first gimbal that I've come across, although I know that many of them like the Weebill Lab S do that now. But it's the first gimbal that I came across where you could really rotate this all the way around and it didn't matter which axes you were playing with, it really just followed all of your movements, which means that you're able to do some pretty interesting things. I can imagine for free runners or parkour runners, for people who are shooting action sequences in buildings or running around buildings or hopping between cars and stuff, I think this would be pretty interesting. Then if you download the Moza Master app on your phone or your tablet, you can then use this as a remote control for your gimbal. You can define how it rolls, how it pans, how it tilts, but you can also enable smart modes like mimic mode, where you can use your phone's gyro to control how your gimbal is going to rotate. You can also set your gimbal up to do motion time lapses so that you can define a path that it'll follow over a certain interval. And you can even use the camera in your phone to set up an object tracking so that the gimbal will follow whatever object your phone is tracking. As with the Air 2, you can go into the menu and add dead zones, so the gimbal isn't quite as responsive when you do small accidental movements. This is an absolute must in my opinion. I've used other gimbals like the Feiyutech AK4000, which didn't have dead zones at the time that I was using it, although they've done a firmware update which now includes them. But it meant that there was absolutely zero margin for error when you were holding your gimbal. You couldn't just slowly start making little maneuvers like that because it would follow every single thing you did, which meant that you had to be insanely precise. And the whole point of the gimbal is that it helps you out. It keeps your footage stable despite the fact that you're human. Then there's also a package you can get which includes the iFocus M. Now, unfortunately, the iFocus M tends to have to be mounted using this absolutely stupid little bracket that you have to actually secure onto your tripod plate. Which means that you're then kind of screwed if you want to use your camera quickly for anything else that doesn't fit with that stupid thing. However, what you can get is an Arca Swiss undermount plate, which has rod support, which means that you can actually slide this underneath that L bracket, tighten that down, and then you're able to use your iFocus M without having to screw some stupid thing onto the front of your plate. Proprietary stuff, man, it's the worst. The iFocus M is basically identical to the iFocus, except it doesn't feature a battery, which means that it can be a lot smaller. However, it does then mean that you need to draw power for this directly from the gimbal, which means an extra cable. But what's in an extra cable? I mean, it's that big. But it does also come with a USB-C port if you wanted to power it externally with a tiny little power bank, and that means that you can still use the hand unit and not have to rely on a gimbal, so you can still use this as a wireless follow focus system. So it becomes very similar to the Tilta Nucleus Nano. So that's pretty much it for the features. I mean, what do I love about this gimbal? It's comfortable to use. It's very comfortable to use, in fact, and you don't have to have this tripod leg underneath, which means that form factor, it's a lot smaller. You can really just wheel this around in your hand, in one hand, and work on those biceps like my little chicken fillets there. And the motors have plenty of torque in them. So even if you're using a heavier setup than this, you're still going to be just fine despite it being a small setup. I love the new battery system, the magazine style. It makes a lot more sense. Buy a couple of spares of that and you will literally be covered for the entire week if you're going traveling. And it's nice and easy. You can charge it with a phone charger, a power bank, a laptop, and you don't have to worry about bringing a separate charger. So it's an extra piece of kit to go in your camera bag, which has to then charge up your batteries. You just charge the battery directly. Much nicer, and you can charge it straight in the gimbal. I love the FPV mode. To me, that's what makes this gimbal. I know they've included it in the Air 2 now, which is an even stronger gimbal. It has even stronger motors with a higher payload, but it's a much bigger gimbal, and for a small mirrorless system like this is much more ideal if you're out and about. Yeah, I absolutely love the FPV mode. It feels like I'm wielding a lightsaber. And then I'd say the final thing that I love is the fact that it has axis locks, which means that if you're wanting to take this with you somewhere, you don't have to worry about it jingling around. You don't have to worry about bringing a case for it. You can just lock the axes and just literally strap it to the side of your bag and you're good to go. These aren't gonna wiggle, they're not gonna damage, they're not gonna get caught on things. It's just much better. Then onto some of my least favorite things about it. Well, feels a bit plasticky. It does. I mean, you compare it to the Feiyutech AK2000S or the Weebill Lab S, it feels a little bit plasticky. And you can see that, you know, the dials, they feel like they could easily snap off. Now, obviously that is part of the drawback of making it 1 kilo, is that you're gonna have to resort to some lighter materials, such as plastic dials and stuff. But it's just a shame that it's just that bit really that feels a little bit flimsy. As I mentioned, the proprietary mounting, I just hate proprietary mounting if you hadn't figured that part out already. But thankfully this plate kind of saves that. But without this, to be honest, I think I would just say no to this gimbal, because I don't want to have to be changing my plate layout every single time I want to use a gimbal. Not happening. And then the final thing is the payload, which it's advertised at 3.2 kilos, yes, and it works flawlessly in pretty much all operation except inception mode, where I think because of the angle that the axes have to be at when it's rotating, sometimes it would just give out and it wouldn't keep rotating fluidly. It would accelerate on a certain movement. It didn't seem all that reliable. Now that wasn't using this system, that was using what's filming now, which is the A7 III with the Sigma 35 f1.4 art lens, which is a heavy lens and a cage. So in fairness, it was probably closer to the absolute limit of that payload, but still you would expect it to handle it, and it didn't really handle it reliably. With this system, absolutely no problems. So bear that in mind. If you're using a much heavier system, then maybe you might want to think about going for something more like the Air 2 rather than the Aircross 2. But if you're using a smaller system like this with a small prime lens, then you should be absolutely fine. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it helps inform you about this gimbal if you were thinking about buying it or you wanted to compare it to some of the other competitors' gimbals that are sort of the same price range. If you are thinking of getting this gimbal and you enjoyed this review, then you could support this channel by getting it using the link that's in the description. It's an affiliate link, which means that I'll get a percentage of the sale. It won't cost you anything extra, but it'll help support the channel to make more content like this and awesome tutorials. All right, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and make sure to check out my Instagram at dodmedia. Is this ASMR?